Hi, everyone, and welcome to PR Club's 5 Minutes with the Finalists, where we are interviewing Super Bell finalists and winners from our annual Bell Ringer Awards. Today, we are chatting with Giselle Mahoney and Caitlin Delaney of RDW Group and Megan Gamboa of Ageless Innovation to talk about their campaign, Supporting Caregivers and Older Adults Through Social Media, which won our Gold Bell in the Business to Consumer Social Media category and was also a Super Bell finalist last year. Thank you all so much for being here. Giselle, I'll kick it over to you to start introductions before diving into some questions about the campaign.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having us. My name is Giselle Mahoney. I'm a senior account executive at RDW Group, and I had the privilege of working with Caitlin and Megan on this project.
I'm Caitlin Delaney. I'm the manager of social media here at RDW Group, and I've had the pleasure of working with Ageless and Joy for All for a few years now, and we're excited to talk about their progress today.
Thank you for having us, Erin. My name is Megan Gamboa. I am the co-founder and senior vice president of marketing and retail sales for Ageless Innovation.
Great. Thank you all so much for being here. So to kick us off, we'd love to have a brief overview of the campaign, from how it came about, the goals you wanted to accomplish, key messages you were trying to deliver, KPIs you wanted to measure against, and the ultimate results.
Great. Well, I'll give you a brief overview of the campaign overall. This was a B2C social media campaign, and it was in the calendar year 2020. So Ageless Innovation is really all about our belief in the power of play and how we bring the power of play to older adults. In 2019, we began working with RDW to revamp our entire Joy for All Pets social media presence. And our goal, we have multiple goals. Our first was to really emphasize the impact that play can have for older adults, to serve as a trusted resource and a support channel for older adults, their families, and their care partners. And also to highlight our pets beyond just product features. So really highlighting the life-changing impact that the companions can provide. In 2020, we were working on growing and expanding upon the strategy when we were faced with the COVID-19 pandemic. We immediately knew we had to support our audience in a new and unique way. And our pets are clinically proven to combat feelings of social isolation and loneliness. So we know that these types of feelings were really exacerbated by the pandemic. So we continued to build upon our strong foundation, but also raising awareness of the pets as an aid to older adults and caregivers as they face these feelings of social isolation and loneliness.
Great. As you know, this campaign was being conducted, was there any feedback that you heard, from your audience members that helped you make any changes as the campaign was going on?
I think we heard from our social media pages and indirectly through the work that Ageless is doing with our audience, and then also comments and likes and things like that on our social pages, that they wanted to turn to us and ask us for support and help. What ideas we have to bring the power of play to their caregivers, loved ones, family members. Caitlin, do you have anything else to add to that?
No, I think you said it just right, Giselle. Really, at the end of the day, we wanted to make sure that we were showing people through not only our own content, but also resources on Alzheimer's, dementia, social isolation, and loneliness, as well as PR wins about the pets in the news and awards that they had won in the past, and user-generated content as well, to kind of really show that impact that our pets can have through not only our own voice, but the voices of others as well.
Awesome. And obviously, we all faced, challenges throughout the pandemic as we kind of switched, from being like in person, and then knowing that this was a social campaign, primarily interacting with folks through social. But were there any specific challenges that you guys faced along the way? And if so, how did you overcome them?
Well, of course, COVID was an immense challenge for all of us, and in some respects, it still very much is. So for us, we really wanted to make sure we were striking the right tone and balance as we were talking to our audiences, right? We have a product that is clinically proven to support these audiences, right? Social isolation and loneliness, to help combat cognitive decline, fight dementia, Alzheimer's. And we've had that product out on the market for years, even before COVID. But we didn't want to come across as opportunistic, right? We don't want to take advantage of anybody or of any situation. So it's the keys for us in communicating throughout the pandemic, and still are today. And it's truly at the heart of what Ageless Innovation is all about. It's being true and authentic and compassionate, empathetic, We want to share the power of play with our audiences and ensure that they know that we're here to support them every step of the way.
Great. Kind of, keeping all of that in mind with, still making sure that we're striking the right tone, just as, some populations are still facing immense challenges with COVID today. What lessons did you learn from, kicking off this campaign and continuing it that you will take with you moving forward?
I mean, Megan and Giselle, feel free to chime in as well, obviously, but I think one of the things that we learned were, real stories really resonate with these audiences. They want to not only hear from us, but hear how it benefited somebody who was going through something similar in similar situations. I think we've found out that there's a really big community, not only in person, but online and on social media around caregiving. So making sure that we were being a part of that and really kind of, as everyone has said already, trying to provide those resources and be a friendly support and almost, limited in social visits were definitely a thing during the pandemic, especially in the beginning. So just making sure that we were there to provide support where we can when everyone was struggling with these issues.
Great. Is there anything else that any of you would like to add as we, kind of wrap up the last of our questions?
I'd like to just talk a little bit about some of the KPIs we measured against. I know sometimes with social media and marketing overall, it could be hard to measure impact. So maybe if you don't mind, Caitlin could talk a little bit about some of the measurements that we saw in 2020 and how it compared to industry benchmarks and how it helped to grow Joy for All's social media presence overall.
Of course, as Giselle had kind of hinted at, we try to measure our social media presence and our goals against not only those industry standards, but also our own historical performance to really kind of track how we're getting and performing, against our goals and really helping to reach folks and make that impression. So one thing that we did notice was that our organic social media in 2020 saw a 153% increase in followers compared to 2019, which was fantastic. We were really thrilled to see that people were, coming to follow us. They were engaged in our community and they really wanted to take advantage of all these resources that we had to offer. Our engagement rate was more than 2 times the overall industry average. And then on the individual platforms, it varied from between 2 to 17 times higher than the averages there. Our paid social media ads reached over 2.1 million people. We had 3 times the landing page views compared to average, and our video views cost only 4 cents each. In addition to that, we saw more than 380,000 engagements on the paid social front, and we actually managed to drive 3 times the pet sales in 2020 as we did in 2019.
Wow, that's great. Those are some awesome stats that you guys can, continue to share. So thank you so much for, kind of diving into all of that. Giselle or Megan, anything else that you guys would want to add to make sure that, members hear from?
I just want to throw out that I feel like the statistics and just the approach just shows how much we really resonated with our audience, which was our goal the whole way, right? Just to make sure that our audience, we were there to support them and we were providing them content that they found useful. Clearly, they were coming back to us and asking us for additional content and engaging with us in meaningful ways. So that's the thing that we're most proud of, and the fact that we were able to help family members help their family members and older adults.
Well, great. Thank you all so much for your time. And thanks everyone for tuning into this segment of 5 Minutes with the Finalists. You can check out prclub.org for more program information and other webinars we are hosting in the future. Thank you.